Welcome to the Voices of GESDA. It's my pleasure to be here today with James Snabe. You're the chairman of Siemens. You are one of our GESDA diplomacy moderator, but you're also the co-chair of our task force on decarbonization. The first question that I would have for you is, what are the biggest challenges you see for decarbonization in the current geopolitical context?
So for me, decarbonization is becoming a super urgent matter because the climate change is happening faster than anyone had expected. And I think the biggest challenge is that we need a radical approach, not a continuous improvement approach. If we just continuously improve, we'll reduce a little bit our emissions, but that's just not fast enough. So we need a radical approach. I argued in my discussions yesterday that we need to reinvent entire value change based on the assumption that you can do it with zero carbon emissions. And that is possible today. So that's, I think, the biggest challenge. Rethink. It's almost like we need to imagine that value chain in the future and then calculate backwards instead of starting with what we have today and improving it stepwise.
Where do you see the value in anticipating the science and the research that could help address this big challenge that we have?
I think GESDA is exactly that opportunity to bring practitioners like myself from business who can provide scale with the scientists who provide the technologies. And when we match those two, when we combine those two, we get the necessary breakthroughs and we get the necessary speed in order to decarbonize the world fast enough. And then we add the diplomacy, because we need to do this in collaboration. No one can do it single-handed. Even big companies like Siemens is not enough. We actually need to orchestrate these entire really redefined value chains across not just companies, but countries, and therefore diplomacy plays a major role.
You mentioned that we need radical change to tackle the climate crisis through decarbonization. So what can we do to accelerate this change?
Well, I am arguing that we need to be, on the first instant, practical and ambitious. At Maersk, we committed to zero carbon shipping, and we just got started without having a plan. This is, for me, a leadership moment where we take bold leadership decisions, even if we don't know how to do it, and we unleash human potential, the human creativity, to find a path there. And if we do that in a pragmatic way, we get started. And then we need to create an exponential curve of learning and add the science so that we can reduce the cost of these future solutions. I actually believe that we have the technologies necessary to create a zero carbon future. What we need is leadership and collaboration to get there much, much faster.
And where do you see the role of GESDA into this endeavor?
Well, I think GESDA is a unique platform to bring together the science, the big ideas, with business, the big scale, with diplomacy to get the collaboration going faster. And we just had a panel of youth, bringing in the youth, the next generation, into this mix as well, I think is very important in order for us to create that better future for them and not make the mistakes of the past.
Thank you very much, Jim.
My pleasure.